All right, then let us roll right on through to our Monday Night Raw review. I'm going to package this up real neat. I mean, we have John Cena come out. Obviously, the crowd's very interactive, very participatory, sings that John Cena sucks, tune along with his theme song. John Cena cuts a very, by-the-numbers promo, sucking up to the crowd. He says, I've said it before and I'll say it again, London deserves a WrestleMania, which gets a huge pop.
And by the way, I hate cancer. Can you cheer me now, please?
Love me! Love me! But then Cena says, he has his U.S. Open challenge, so who's going to answer the call this week? And, of course, Bad News Barrett comes out, as Ashton alluded to in our opening segment. He cuts pretty much a babyface promo because he's in his home country, and he says, why should I have to wait to beat Daniel Bryan and reclaim my Intercontinental Championship when I can come down there and beat you for the U.S. title? So that's pretty much how we get our match. And I'm not going to lie, this wasn't a bad match, right? And I think it really picked up towards the end. But of all the matches of the U.S. Open so far, which, this is only the third, to be fair, I'd say this was the weakest one. I don't know.
For what it's worth, it only got 10 minutes.
Yeah, and that could be it. It could be a matter of time. But
yeah,
again,
to me, this was still, it was between this and Ziggler-Neville for match of the night tonight, to me.
Yeah, and what? I'd agree with that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But great back and forth towards the end because you had Barrett pretty much hitting all his stuff. Wins a change. Then at one point he got out of the attitude adjustment, hit the wasteland. And then it got crazy because, he missed the bull hammer at one point and Cena scored the AA. So we're thinking, oh, crap, it's over. But Barrett actually kicks out, which was a great false finish.
Yeah.
And then Barrett does hit the bull hammer, but then Cena kicks out. And I'll be honest, even though we all saw it coming, I don't know how I feel about somebody kicking out of a move like the bull hammer. But, it's Cena.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the few moves that's actually been sort of a well protected move, as opposed to I could see a Dirty Deeds. I could see someone kicking out of that relatively easily. It's like the bull hammer was kind of in that blackout curb stomp realm where hardly anyone's ever kicked out of it. And I know someone has before, but it just seems weird that someone would, and on such a random occasion, it's just like a Raw.
Well, I think the three most legit finishers to me right now, honestly, if I had to pick them, just off the top of my head, I'd say curb stomp, knee plus, and yeah, I'd have to put the bull hammer up there, and having Cena kick out, I don't know, it's pretty weird.
It's funny because you were saying knee plus, and what was the first one that you said?
Curb stomp before that.
Curb stomp, yeah, and for some reason, something else came to mind when you were saying that stuff, but I wouldn't necessarily say F5 because it seems like he can never win a match with just one.
Right.
And I wouldn't say AA because every frickin' body has been kicking out of those lately.
Yeah.
And I think, didn't somebody just kick out of an RKO 3 or 4 weeks ago?
Well, Seth Rollins kicked out of the RKO at WrestleMania, but then again,
that's right.
Randy Orton also kicked out of a curb stomp at that same event.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. I would agree. Shell Shock. That was the other one. Who freaking kicks out of Shell Shock?
That's true, actually. Yeah, I think I'd have to bump out curb stomp simply because of Randy Orton's recent kick out and probably put Shell Shock in there.
If we're talking about recent kick out, freaking John Cena just kicked out of a bull hammer. I would replace that with Shell Shock.
Yeah, and Roman Reigns kicked out of the knee plus. It's all out of sorts. It's all out of sorts.
Everything's messed up. Let's be honest with ourselves. Nothing is more difficult to kick out of than the knockout punch.
That's true. That's true. And, when you're Brock Lesnar and you ate one, yeah, you're legit.
Well, and that's the thing. Brock is the only person that I can remember that's ever kicked out of it.
Yeah, I know. Well, Cena's probably kicked out of it, too, in one of their feuds.
But that's the thing, though. From what I remember, the only time Cena has ever won a match despite getting hit with a knockout punch was that freaking cage match where Big Show spent 10 minutes gesturing to the crowd after he hit it.
Oh, what a heel.
No, but seriously, though, because then Big Show even used the knockout punch to eliminate Cena from the Survivor Series match.
Yeah, when he chose job security over being babyface.
Man.
But yeah, to keep it together here, Barrett tries going for the bull hammer again. Obviously, Cena ducks, and he nails the springboard stunner. And he gets a second attitude adjustment for the win.
I love that commentary learned the name of a new move, and they're just abusing it all to hell.
I know. I also love that Cena has suddenly become a cruiserweight.
No, that's the thing though. He's added one move to his arsenal, and everyone popped the first time, but now it's just a sixth move of doom.
Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole with this or anything, but I don't really think I'm friends with that, because I really like that it was like that really unique kind of pull out all the stops at a WrestleMania kind of maneuver, and now it's just become another like by the numbers part of Cena's offense.
Yeah.
But it's whatever. He gets the win. Solid match.
Honestly, though, I think it's a better setup for the AA than the five knuckle shuffle.
Oh, I completely agree with
Because you hit that and that stands the guy up, and then Cena can just pop up and get them in the fireman's carry, and yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, Ash. I mean, let's call it for what it is. I mean, theatrics aside for each maneuver, the five knuckle shuffle really is nothing more than a fist drop, and at least with the springboard stunner,
But it pops the other person up though. Like he punches the guy in the head with the assistance from gravity, and it makes them stand up.
Yeah.
Like, how does this guy get away with this for this long?
I don't even know.
And that's a crazy thing too. He didn't even go for that in this match, did he?
He did, but it wasn't like the off the ropes kind of style. It was just like he hit the proto bomb and then bam.
Oh, that might be why I don't remember, because he didn't really do like all the theatrics that usually go with it.
Exactly.
Aha! See, yeah, see.
But after the match, Cena, his arm raised, goes America. And Rusev's music hits, and Lana comes out. And see, now it's interesting, Ashton. This shows you what kind of idiot I am, because I forget that they're heels for a second, and I'm thinking that Rusev not coming out is still playing on the tension between Lana and Rusev, because they've been having their problems lately ever since Mania.
Oh, John.
Yeah, I know, silly me. And she's speaking, and she messes up the word disparage. How did she say it? Do you remember how she said it?
No, I don't remember.
Well, yeah, she's like, you're trying to disparage Rusev for not using his rematch, and then Rusev comes from behind and he clocks Cena.
I think she didn't say the whole word. I think she just said disparage.
Yeah, disparage is what you tried to disparage. But yeah, she meant you're trying to disparage Rusev for not using his rematch, and then before she can even finish, Rusev comes from behind, clocks Cena with a steel chain, lays him out. And, Lana says pretty much that they've been deliberating and they've decided that their match at Extreme Rules is going to be a Russian chain match. Rusev holds the chain over Cena and he does his yelling and he grabs the U.S. title and he poses with that, and the chain is the Russian flag, lowers down, and UK crowd, they give Rusev the heat. So it's a pretty well done post-match segment. Nice to see Rusev still getting booed. But now I'm really just convinced that Cena's probably going to choke Rusev out with that chain at Extreme Rules and get the submission win. I mean, I'm already kind of visualizing it in my head. So,
do you think Rusev's going to pass out?
I'm thinking he'll just straight up tap out. But if he passes out, I'd honestly be okay with that.
Yeah, because you got to remember, even when Cena did lock in the STF that one time to get Lana to surrender the match at WrestleMania, Rusev passed out first. That's like his go-to. Like, that's what he does. And then Cena had to wake him up and unnaturally get him to tap out. So Rusev is not a tapper. It's not his first resort.
But I don't think we'd be doing this discussion justice until we bring up the biggest problem that you actually mentioned when we were watching this together. I mean, way to pick a match stipulation with a guy that's very familiar with using steel chains.
Yeah, okay. I get the idea that you want to make it seem like you're this Billy Badass and that you're going to knock this guy out with your chain and this stuff. But John Cena came to the ring with a chain and freaking kissed it and then put it up on the ring post every week for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
He was the leader of the chain gang. Come on now.
You really feel like Cena's going to be so disoriented, so unfamiliar with this kind of environment. Are you kidding me? Like, I mean, I don't even really know what stipulation would have been more in Rusev's niche. I mean, because you'd want to say submission, but of course, obviously, Cena has the STF. But even that, I feel like
Iron Man
more
match. Make him go 30.
Yeah, make him go 30 minutes. But yeah,
blow his ass up.
Yeah, they're going to make it seem like, oh man, look at these odds. These odds! But
no, the odds are so real.
Exactly. I don't even know, man. But I didn't think we'd be doing this discussion any kind of justice if we didn't bring that very obvious point up. So there's that. And we get announced tonight that Randy Orton and Seth Rollins will each have a respective matchup. And whoever wins gets to pick the stipulation for Extreme Rules. We know that Orton's going to be taking on Cesaro, and Rollins will face Dolph Ziggler. We go from that to the Divas Battle Royal, and pretty much nobody gets an entrance except for Paige, hometown hero, and she gets a huge
we
pop.
got to see the latter half of Natalia's entrance too. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. As she was signing autographs on the way to the ring. What a douche.
Worst.
But I gotta say, Ashton, here's the thing, right? Like all jokes aside, and we got our pot shots at Natalia out of the way for the week.
I'm listening.
I really enjoyed this. I thought this was fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. I think for some reason a lot of people are complaining about it, talking about how it was a cluster, you know what, and I don't know. I mean, I think that all battle royals are. I think that if a battle royal is organized, it gets boring.
Yeah, well, where I really feel like this match benefited for me, a lot of the eliminations were very quick.
Yeah.
They didn't spend time lingering on people that you knew just like had no chance. In fact, probably the biggest upset was that Rosa Mendes eliminated both Summer Rae and Natalia at one point.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
That was crazy.
Dude, it's so funny too because like Nikki Bella had literally just gotten done talking about, like, Michael Cole was like, hey, if you could pick any of the women in this match to face at Extreme Rules, who would it be? And she was like, Rosa Mendes, obviously.
Yeah, that was a great line by Nikki. I have to give her credit, because it's pretty much just saying, yeah, Rosa Mendes would be the easiest to beat out of all of these women, and I just want a night off. Yep. I do like that they got rid of all those people, and then when it got down to the final few, like, it was Alicia Fox, Emma, Paige, and Naomi. I really enjoyed that exchange. Emma did get some nice offense on Alicia Fox, but it was all for naught because she got the elimination. And then it came down to, I think even Cameron might have survived a little bit longer too. I forgot about her, honestly. So, then it was her. And Naomi kind of overcomes.
Honestly, dude, I think as horrible as Natalia's been, the fact that she's kind of turned heel and kind of acknowledged that she's not the best, I almost feel like we kind of have to switch the worst label over to Cameron, because she really is the freaking worst.
She really
She is going to injure somebody with as sloppily as she works.
She did like this really weird, stupid-looking split kick at one point. I'm like, what the heck even was that? But
you don't ask questions like that with people like that.
I am so sorry. I'll learn. I'll do better next time.
Just saying.
But Naomi does overcome Alicia and Cameron at one point. Then it comes down to Naomi and Paige, and this is where the match, I think, really gets good. I think they did some great teases throughout, like who's going to go over. It was a nice back and forth. But ultimately, Ashton, Paige does get the win here and becomes the number one contender for Nikki Bella's Divas Championship at Extreme Rules.
Yep.
Now, this is what makes the story very interesting, and I'm not even going to get to the part that you probably think I'm going to get to, is that Paige has had her interactions with the Bellas over the course of the last few months, but Naomi more recently had gotten 2 pinfall victories over Nikki Bella, so I like that they had that tension, the person with the most recent kind of momentum versus the person with the more established history with the champion, and they go with that established history. Now, obviously, the crowd ate it up. They loved it, got a huge reaction. After the match, she, talks to Byron. Byron asks her how it feels, and Paige kind of cuts that promo, like of all the dues she paid and the memories of, being here, her father, her parents, her best friends, and working like for £5 a night just to get here. And so it was a really emotional moment for her. And then Byron asks, if Paige has anything to say, to Nikki Bella, and she starts to. But then Naomi comes back in, and I'm going to give you the floor on this one because I know you were really reacting to it. Naomi really gives Paige a beatdown here, bro.
Dude, this was a shockingly convincing beatdown. Like, in WWE, I don't care what gender you are. At the end of the day, most WWE beatdowns look staged. They look choreographed. It looks like they're cooperating. This match, if I didn't know any better, I would say Naomi got legit pissed, and I was waiting for someone to pull out their camera for World Star.
Yeah.
This was brutal. Like, she was throwing closed fists at her, and she was, like, grabbing her and throwing her into the barricade. This looked brutal, and I am so proud of both of these women because, I mean, yeah, say what you want about Naomi's offense looking legit, but Paige had to sell it like it was legit too,
Oh, absolutely,
and she did a
absolutely.
great job of it.
And I loved Naomi too, because she even was like saying, like, the crowd was booing and she's like, oh, that feels good. So, like, she's really indulging in it. And at one point she gets up in Paige's face and says, this is your house, huh? This is your house. And she starts like hammering these right hands and slapping Paige, and
Yeah.
then she drives her under the barricade again. And she's just kind of laughing and smiling to herself, because and I like, it makes so much sense, because you hear Naomi, if you watch the SmackDown or Raw fallouts, like, I know she had a couple and she said, I'm coming for that Divas Championship. I feel it. I've got all the momentum right now. And then to have Paige come in and to undercut like all that momentum and take it away from you, this turn makes sense.
Yep.
And, I really love that she did this. And then afterwards, which I thought was a great touch, she takes off the Uso tee that she was wearing and she throws it in the ring. So obviously, the Usos are still baby faces. She doesn't want to be repping, babyface merch.
Right.
And she just walks out after that beatdown. Can we finally get her some new music to fit the new heel persona? Because I'm really just over Funk is on a roll.
Please. Yeah. I mean, we've called your mama and she didn't have anything good to say, so just change it.
Exactly. Hang up the phone, get it together, and I am so ready. I even told you, because Naomi would address her actions later in what I thought was a pretty well done promo. I am so ready for Naomi to be Divas champion, and I was ready when she was a babyface doing her thing. Now that she's kind of had this metamorphosis, this heel turn, I am so there. So
I can
let's do
tell.
it.
I'm excited that you're excited.
Yeah, man, absolutely. It feels good to be excited about these women.
Yeah.
Really, like you said at the top of the show, save for Roman Reigns' big show, which I wouldn't even say like, oh, it's horrendous. I think it has potential to at least be tolerable. Like, I'm really excited about most of the things going on in WWE right now, and that includes these women, especially after the developments we got tonight. So, good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.